When I confided in my boyfriend that my best friend could offer me a love that he never could, he surprised me by suggesting I pursue a relationship with her instead. A playful jest has woven itself into my heart, and now the thought of drifting off to sleep without her by my side feels utterly impossible. Please, lend your support to this channel. We are truly devoted, nearing the enchanting milestone of 1,000 devoted followers, music. Part 1. Best Friends and Blind Spots. The late afternoon sun poured through the expansive windows of Claire's inviting space. In the quiet solitude of the apartment, dust motes twirled gracefully in the air, casting a soft, warm honey glow that enveloped everything in its embrace. It was a light that whispered secrets of love and longing, seemed perfectly crafted for Claire, who sat cross-legged on the soft rug, her blonde hair tousled and artfully arranged atop her head. With her head held high, she radiated an infectious energy as she recounted her day, gesturing wildly, even finding magic in the mundane. An unexpected encounter with a particularly aggressive pigeon outside the office transformed into a lively tale, filled with moments of surprise and intrigue. Her radiant smile, like a beacon of warmth, contrasted beautifully with the way she settled into the familiar, comforting hold of Claire's cherished armchair cradled Sam, a steaming mug of rich black coffee, delicately balanced in his hands. Precariously on one knee, a well-thumbed paperback novel momentarily forgotten on. The other Sam watched Claire with a look that danced between tender amusement and a hint of fatigue. With a hint of tolerance, a delicate smirk danced upon her lips, her dark eyes glinting with sharp observation. Missed nothing, surrounded by equally dark, slightly unruly hair that cascaded just past her shoulders, where Claire radiated warmth like the sun, contrasted beautifully with Sam, who embodied the cool, mysterious essence of twilight, layered with depth and intrigue. In the shadows of unspoken emotions, where secrets lingered just beneath the surface, Sam Claire's laughter danced like a fleeting whisper, teasing the heart with its elusive charm. The sound rang bright and clear, as if Mr. Henderson longed for that pigeon to swoop down upon him, practically extending an invitation with his very presence. With a playful gesture, she offered the sandwich as a token of affection, then flopped back onto the rug, her smile radiant. Sam lifted his gaze, intrigued by her carefree spirit. With a skeptical eyebrow raised, she took a slow sip of her coffee, her voice drawing out in a languid manner. In stark contrast to Claire's vibrant spirit, Mr. Henderson finds himself ensnared by a series of unfortunate events, revealing a profound lack of fortune and the simplest of skills. In the heat of the moment, her instincts for self-preservation surged, igniting a fire within her. As she locked eyes with him, her gaze flickered with a depth of meaning that spoke volumes, hinting at unspoken emotions and the weight of their shared history. As Claire playfully stuck her tongue out, a hint of mischief danced in her eyes. My instincts, sharp and unwavering, sensed the spark of something deeper beneath the surface. Embrace hope, a hopeful naivety, Sam corrected softly, yet the truth lingered unspoken. In this moment, their connection pulsed with a familiar intensity, a rhythm perfected over countless shared experiences. Since that tumultuous freshman orientation week, they had been swept into a whirlwind of emotions, forever intertwined. In a world where two souls collide, there exists Claire, the effervescent social butterfly, whose nervous excitement dances in the air around her. Then there's Sam, the quiet one, whose presence is a gentle whisper amidst the vibrant chaos. In a world where solitude reigned, an observer emanated an aura of detachment. Yet against all odds, a spark ignited between them, drawing Sam into an unexpected connection. Sharpwood discovered its ideal counterpart in Claire's limitless passion, and Claire's steadfast devotion had gradually worn away. Behind Sam's meticulously built defenses lies a fiercely protective, yet unexpectedly tender soul waiting to be discovered. The playful banter as their phone screens illuminated at once, creating glowing rectangles of, as the blue light danced across the rug, Claire's face radiated with a newfound brilliance. She quickly grabbed her own, her voice bubbling with excitement. Jake! As she swiped to respond, hey, you finished early. Sam couldn't help but observe the enchanting transformation unfolding before her eyes. With a carefully neutral expression, she picked up her forgotten book, pretending to read, yet her thoughts were completely elsewhere. Her voice danced through the air, a soft melody of agreement. Yes, that's wonderful. Oh, wait, really? Tonight? Claire's smile wavered just a bit, but I sensed as we were sharing a meal, you casually remarked. Oh, I understand. It's a big client situation. She attempted to infuse her voice with a spark of enthusiasm. Of course, go and dazzle them. Will, reschedule. Yeah, love you too. She ended the call with a forced cheer. As she gently set the phone face down on the soft rug, a delicate sigh slipped from her lips. Are we really rescheduling the anniversary dinner? Sam inquired, her tone artfully nonchalant, while her gaze remained fixed on the pages of her book. a hint of surprise lingering in the air. The sarcasm lingered in the air as Claire waved a dismissive hand, swiftly reconstructing her radiant facade. It's merely one fateful dinner. Sam found himself on the brink of a monumental opportunity, one that held the weight of significance and promise, enough to erase the memory of the reservation made weeks prior, the one he had insisted on at that trendy new spot. As Sam closed her, the book landed softly with a gentle thud, her gaze finding Claire's, filled with an undeniable warmth, devoid of any anger, just a weary intensity. Claire, he does this all the time. Last month, it was on that fateful evening of birthday celebrations, he arrived 2 hours late, a hint of someone else's perfume lingering in the air. With a charming smile, he explained that it was his, weaving a tale that danced between intrigue and allure. It was a colleague's birthday, and as the champagne spilled, Claire protested. Yet her voice was tinged with uncertainty. She nervously toyed with him. The delicate fringe of the rug whispered secrets of the past. A reminder of the night you surprised Sam with those concert tickets. A moment forever etched in the tapestry of your shared memories. With a gentle lean forward, he momentarily lost himself in the thrill of the game. Forgetting everything else, his heart raced as he swung. And when he realized his oversight, he offered a sincere apology, hoping to mend the moment. Felt a deep ache as Claire's defensiveness rose like a barrier against Sam's unwelcome observations. He worked so hard. It's tough for Sam. The weight of expectations bears down on him. Achieving success like his is no simple feat. Neither does respect in a relationship, Sam muttered, her voice barely a whisper as she contemplated the weight of her words. Witnessing the fleeting shadow of pain on Claire's face, he felt his heart soften, retreating behind the familiar veil of his dry humor. Fine, he murmured, his voice laced with an unspoken tenderness. Jake, the master of excuses and last-minute cancellations, had left Claire feeling frustrated yet intrigued. With a faint smile, she realized that he was a mystery to everyone else, but not to her. Sam pondered this familiar truth. The ache tightening in her chest felt achingly real. She couldn't grasp Jake, couldn't fathom how someone could gaze upon Claire, captivated by her endless warmth, her effortless laughter, and her unwavering loyalty, and regard her as in a moment of reflection, she found herself bewildered by Claire's ability to embrace mere scraps of affection, labeling them as a grand banquet. It left her feeling unsettled. Sam felt an overwhelming urge to either shake her best friend or perhaps land a punch on Jake's infuriatingly perfect jaw, but she held back. She never acted on those impulses, because Sam's disdain for Jake was rooted in something far more profound than his habitual unreliability and emotional distance. The way he quietly undermined Claire's passion, the dismissive roll of his eyes at her excitement, was a truth that Sam concealed deep within. Locked away in the shadows of his heart, behind a veil of playful banter and artfully crafted aloofness, she could enumerate 100 compelling reasons why Jake had missed the mark. For Claire, reasons rooted in tangible actions. Yet the true reason, the one that lies beneath, that smoldered like a hidden desire, both exhilarating and completely forbidden. She found herself drawn to Jake, yet she couldn't shake the feeling of disdain. He had Claire, and Sam longed for what remained just out of reach. She yearned for Claire's gaze to fall upon her, igniting a fire of desire that could never be fulfilled. She gazed at him, her heart fluttering at the sight of that radiant, trusting smile meant only for Jake. In that moment, she yearned to be the one Claire reached out to first with joyful news, the one whose schedule held significance. She yearned to shield Claire from Jake, not merely to stand by as he dulled her brilliance. Sam swallowed the bitter truth, offering Claire a lopsided grin instead. Right? I'm just a jaded confidant, lost in the depths of my thoughts. While the wine flows, Claire's radiant smile brightens the room, returned with a soft glow, yet undeniably sincere. As Sam stood to retrieve the bottle, Claire observed her best friend's retreating figure, the familiar slope of her shoulders drawing her gaze as she tucked a stray, with a dark strand tucked behind her ear. Claire reveled in the familiar warmth of their connection, the unwavering safety that Sam always offered. She felt it enveloping her like a gentle embrace. A flicker of remorse washed over her for raising her voice. Sam only wanted to help, and that was all that mattered. She failed to notice the deeper emotions at play. A brilliant and driven man captivated Claire, yet she could only see the blind spots that she chose to overlook. In that moment, Claire reveled in the warmth surrounding her. In the warmth of their bond, she found solace in the radiant light of Jake's next vow. Deliberately turning her gaze from the lurking shadows, Sam gestured towards the even deeper shadow that lingered, a reflection of the weight she herself bore, as the familiar sound of Claire's key turning in the lock echoed through the air. An unusual silence enveloped the room, wrapping around Sam like a thick fog. He curled up, sensing the weight of unspoken words and lingering emotions that hung between them. On the couch with a well-loved copy of The Princess Bride, she looked up from her usual dry demeanor. With a soft sigh escaping her lips, Claire stood poised in the doorway, her presence charged with the vibrant energy that typically heralded her arrival, completely devoid of life. Her golden locks, which typically shone like a radiant halo, appeared dull beneath the unforgiving light. In the dimly lit hallway, the warmth of her radiant smile faded, giving way to a tight, trembling line that spoke volumes of her inner turmoil. Clutched a small, tastefully wrapped gift box like a precious treasure. "Hey," Sam said, a hint of anticipation in their voice. Setting the book aside, her voice softened, losing its usual edge. "You're back early." She had assumed he was planning something special for their anniversary, as she gestured toward the beautifully wrapped box meant for Saint Jake. Claire, however, felt a twinge of disappointment. She tossed aside her heels with a sudden, fierce determination, a spark of passion igniting within her. As she sent one skittering under the coffee table, she glided past Sam into the kitchen, the silence enveloping them, punctuated only by the soft chime of crystal as she reached for 2 grand wine glasses, then gracefully uncorked a bottle of rich crimson from the... She reached for the exquisite bottle she had been saving for a moment of significance, and the sharp pop of the cork echoed in the stillness, startling Claire. Sam. She rose gracefully from the couch, trailing after her friend. Leaning against the kitchen doorway, she watched with a soft smile as Claire poured 2 generous glasses, her movements stiff and precise. "What happened?" "Claire." Finally, she turned, handing Sam a glass, her eyes usually so clear and bright now glistening with a hint of red, rimmed and shimmering with unshed tears. Yet her jaw was set with a fierce determination that Sam rarely witnessed. What transpired next? Her voice was, in a cozy corner. "We shared a meal at Laura's, the charming spot he had insisted on. The one with the... After a 2-month waiting list, I had somehow managed to secure a spot." Sam took the glass, her own unease growing as she recognized that tone. Was the delicate melody of Claire's carefully woven hopes finally breaking apart? She took a generous sip of wine, seeking solace in its warmth. He hardly savored the moment, his attention consumed by his phone, while her voice trembled in the air, unacknowledged, merely reaching out through texts, emails, and even taking a call amidst the delightful main course. On our anniversary, Sam found herself lost in thought, envisioning the moments we shared together. Claire sat there, a vision of beauty and hope in her new dress, radiating an enchanting charm that seemed to wilt under the weight of her dreams. Under the soft, flickering glow of Jake's screen, overlooked in the midst of quiet sophistication. "Did you utter a word?" "Naturally." As I spoke, I could see Claire's calm demeanor shatter in the wake of the call. I hesitated, then asked him, gently at first, as if it could pause for just an hour for us. She echoed Jake's words. With a casual flick of his hand, he remarked, "Don't be so dramatic." "Claire, this is important. It's just dinner." Her voice quivered, laced with a mix of pain and fury. "Just dinner. It's on their anniversary." He barely glanced up as the dessert arrived, adorned with the words, "Happy Anniversary," elegantly scripted in chocolate. She hurriedly consumed her meal, fingers dancing over the keyboard as she moved restlessly around the cozy kitchen. The wine swirled precariously in her glass, a reflection of the tumultuous emotions brewing within her. When the bill arrived, he let out a heavy sigh, as if my presence were a burden. He remarked, "This place is absurd. We could have simply ordered in." Claire halted, her breath catching as she gazed at the dark liquid in her glass seemed to whisper secrets, while he paid without sparing me a glance, tossing the card down as if it were a mere trifle. He tossed aside the remnants of their evening, and with a heavy heart, he uttered the words that would change everything. He had to return to the office, a mere formality before the big closing tomorrow, and just like that, he left her standing there, feeling the weight of his absence settle in. Standing on the curb, he didn't even walk me to my car. The dam broke, and a tear spilled down my cheek. As her fingers gently traced a path down her cheek, she whispered, "He forgot the gift," while holding up the small box before allowing it to fall onto the counter with a gentle thud. He didn't even remember to take it. Sam experienced a well-known surge of fierce protectiveness bubbling just beneath her skin, more intense and piercing than usual. She placed her untouched glass aside and moved closer, her heart racing as she approached Claire. "That is utterly unacceptable. Crossing the line into something deeply hurtful. It's a level of disrespect that is simply unthinkable, and I am all too aware of its impact." Claire gasped, her emotions spilling over as she swiped angrily at her tears. "I know it is," she declared, her voice trembling. "I'm not stupid, Sam. Yet, I find myself crafting excuses. He's overwhelmed, ambitious, and his affection shines through." In a moment of vulnerability, her voice faded, the justifications echoing emptily, even to her own ears. In the raw aftermath, she drew in another shuddering breath, her gaze lingering on Sam, gazing deeply at her. Sam, the ever-present companion, the one who cherished every word she shared, about the gentle cooing of pigeons and the steadfast presence of staplers. Sam, who brought warm soup during her moments of illness, who cherished the memory of her favorite obscure delights, childhood sweetness, who endured the most cringe-worthy love stories without a hint of discontent, Sam, her sharp tongue was always accompanied by unwavering support, as Sam's dark eyes radiated nothing but fierce protection. In this moment, the stark contrast was overwhelming, a vivid reminder of the years spent in the shadows of Jake's neglect. The lingering void of his absence weighed heavily, a stark contrast to the unwavering, steadfast presence that surrounded her best friend. The words spilled forth, unrefined and unguarded, ignited by pain and the warmth of wine, and the sting of humiliation. The bitterness in her voice was startling. "You treat me better than he ever did." In that moment, as Sam froze, the air crackled with an electric tension. She had just taken a delicate sip of wine, savoring the rich flavor, unaware of the stirring emotions that surrounded her. Claire's words struck her with the force of a tempest, leaving her gasping and choking, the wine spilling from her lips in a chaotic cascade. The heat surged through her, a fiery sensation that clawed at her throat and threatened to escape in a rush. She doubled over, her hand gripping the counter as her eyes widened with a mix of surprise and intensity. As she knelt beside him, her heart raced with concern, momentarily pushing aside her frustration. "Oh God, are you okay?" she whispered, reaching out to him with trembling hands. As she gently patted Sam's back, a sense of tenderness filled the air. Sam, still caught in a fit of coughs, waved her off, her cheeks flushed with a mix of embarrassment and warmth, flushed crimson, partly from the choking sensation, but mostly from the seismic shift Claire's words had ignited deep within her heart. "She knows." Oh, how could she possibly know? Panic surged within her, mingling with a terrifying uncertainty. A tantalizing wave of longing washed over her as she regained her composure, lifting her chin and delicately brushing her lips with the back of her hand. The back of her hand brushed against the cool surface as she evaded Claire's worried eyes, her attention drawn instead to the forgotten gift box resting on the counter. When she finally locked eyes with Claire once more, while Sam's expression remained a mystery, a carefully crafted facade. As she slid into place amidst the chaos, she cleared her throat, the sound rough yet determined. Her voice, when it finally emerged, was a smooth facade, tinged with the familiar edge of her signature dry wit, yet devoid of its typical fervor. It seemed to surrender, recognizing an inescapable truth, the secret she would hold close for years. As Sam lifted her wine glass once more, cradling it as if it were a precious treasure, she savored each deliberate sip, her eyes unwaveringly locked onto. Claire's bewildered expression lingered, the unspoken words suspended in the air between them, simple yet profound, and devastating. It was not mere flirtation, nor was it a jest. It was a stark, undeniable truth. The revelation hung in the air, slicing through Claire's fury and leaving a profound stillness in its wake. The familiar contours of their companionship now seemed delicate, crackling with a tension neither dared to acknowledge. "Handle." Claire gazed intently at Sam, the weight of those two words clearly dawning upon her, more profound than any of Jake's indifference had ever been. The conflict with Jake receded into the shadows, supplanted by the chilling, an exhilarating precipice lay before them, as Sam's simple agreement had just unveiled a world of possibilities. Sam, for her part, was captivated by the mesmerizing deep red swirl of the wine in her glass, lost in thought and the moment's allure, longing for the ground to open up beneath her, yet unable to resist the intense, illicit fire ignited by Claire's words. Ignited Part 3. The Dare. The confrontation with Jake didn't unfold right away. It lingered in the air, charged with unspoken tension. Claire bore the weight of their ill-fated anniversary dinner, the sharp sting of public humiliation, and the haunting memory of the forgotten gift lingering in her heart. The casual dismissal lingered like a bruise beneath her skin, tender and dark. She sought to reach out to him the following day, her heart heavy with unspoken words, his voice carefully measured, seeking understanding, perhaps even the apology that lingered unspoken. "Look, Claire," Jake began, sighed, barely glancing away from his laptop screen as he lingered in her apartment doorway, an air of impatience enveloping him. It was quite the bustling evening. You understand how it goes? But I still carved out a moment for dinner, didn't I? Made time, Claire repeated, her voice trembling with a delicate tension that hinted at the emotions swirling beneath the surface. You were glued to your phone, completely ignoring me. You didn't say a word or even glance my way. It mattered to me, he exclaimed with a hint of frustration. At last, he directed his complete focus toward her, his striking features etched with frustration. This agreement held the power to change everything. My dear, your feelings about dinner seem to pale in comparison to the weight of the moment. The casual cruelty lingers in the air, a stark reminder of the utter disregard that has woven itself into our lives. Struck her with the force of a tempest. It was more than just the meal. It was the weight of years spent in silence, the lingering ache of unspoken words, of lingering in the shadows, the slow fading of her own value mirrored in his indifferent gaze, the haunting memory of Sam's visage, the memories of the night before danced in her thoughts, highlighting Sam's fierce protectiveness and her own quiet resolve, an unyielding presence, Sam, who beheld her. Sam, whose simplicity was utterly devastating, obviously, in the vast emptiness that Jake's indifference had forged. Claire's voice trembled, growing stronger with each passing moment. Am I truly your beloved, or merely a convenient presence, a piece that fits into your life when it suits you? As she stepped closer, the fire of her anger consumed the remnants of her hurt. With a daring spirit, she recalled Sam's words from the night before, lingering in the air after he had left her alone on the curb. Jake, unable to contain his exasperation, rolled his eyes in response to the unfolding drama. That felt like a sharp rejection, oh dear. What now? More of her envious venom. She had always despised him. Claire brushed aside the sting of his words as she met his gaze, her emotions spilling forth, unfiltered and ignited by the moment. The sharp sting of her words lingered in the air, a bittersweet reminder of the love I longed for. She promised me a tenderness that felt like a distant dream, one that only deepened the ache of reality. What she said was true. The moment her words left her lips, Jake's irritation melted away, replaced first by a dazed astonishment, then by a chilling, seething fury that contorted his. He released a sudden, mirthless laugh, a sound that was both jarring and unappealing. In the stillness of the quiet apartment, a rich tension filled the air as he took a step closer to her. Her voice laced with playful irony, Samantha, the ever-single skeptic, lingers in the background. With a mocking tone, he scoffed, do you really believe she understands how to cherish you? Do you think she could offer you everything I have, the lifestyle, the security, the promise of a future? Claire flinched, but stood firm. She understood the art of being there for him. Jake, she knew how to truly listen. She understands how to make me feel cherished. Fine. Jake threw his hands up in exasperation, the gesture speaking volumes. With an exaggerated theatrical flair, the bitterness in his laugh deepened, curdling into something cruel. You think she's so much, he taunted, his voice dripping with disdain. Better than go ahead and date her. The words lingered in the air, a stunning revelation that left a palpable tension between them. With a flippant air, he wielded his words like venom, not truly serious, but rather mocking her, daring her to confront the depths of her pain. And Sam's perceived interference returned to her like a challenge. He was confident she'd never embrace. Let's see how it unfolds, he said, continued, his voice laced with the patronizing confidence. Go play house with your best friend and see how long that lasts. Lingers before you find yourself yearning for what you once cherished. He grasped his briefcase, his expression, with a wave of indifference. He cast a final glance over his shoulder, his words lingering in the air like a fading whisper. Let me know how your little experiment turns out. Then, he turned away, the door clicking shut behind him, sealing off the moment forever. With a decisive click that resonated through the stillness, Claire stood frozen, her heart racing in the aftermath of the moment, stood frozen in the middle of her living room, the fire of her anger dissipating like mist, leaving behind an echoing void filled with trembling uncertainty. Jake's words about dating her lingered in her mind, not as a jest anymore, but as a thrilling, heart-pounding possibility. It was utterly wild, a whirlwind of emotions as Jake cast a challenge he never dreamed she would accept. Yet, the vision of Sam's face radiated warmth, her eyes sparkling even amidst her playful sarcasm. A steadfast presence that drew you in. The warmth of her presence enveloped Claire's thoughts. A vivid contrast to Jake's chilling exit, the pain, the disregard, the long, lonely years. In a moment of fervent rebellion, all the justifications melted away, giving rise to a singular, passionate impulse that dared to challenge the status quo. Not the thought was reckless, born of heartbreak and longing. And the lingering echo of Sam's presence, obviously. Why shouldn't it be? Someone sweep me off my feet before reason could take hold, before the weight of it all could truly settle in. Claire seized her. Her fingers trembled slightly as she scrolled past Jake's name, choosing to ignore it. With a flutter of anticipation, she deleted the message and found herself dialing Sam's number, pressing the phone gently to her ear. Her heart raced within her chest, a captive creature desperate for freedom. It beat twice, and then she heard Sam's voice, familiar and slightly raspy, cutting through the tension. With a hint of playful intrigue, it seems you've weathered the storm of Jake's aftermath. Claire, a shaky breath escaped her lips as the weight of her words loomed over her, sending a wave of dizziness through her. This was more than mere venting. It was a revelation. She was teetering on the edge of a decision that could alter the course of her life, yet the haunting image of Jake's disdainful smirk propelled her onward. Claire's voice emerged, breathless and tinged with an excitement that made it soar higher than usual. Want to go on a date? With me? The silence on the other end was heavy, as if time itself had paused. Claire could almost sense the weight of Sam's thoughts, the gears of his mind coming to a standstill. In those fleeting moments, time seemed to elongate, consumed solely by the rapid cadence of Claire's heartbeat. Had she truly shattered everything she held dear? Sam felt a wave of horror wash over him, a deep-seated disgust bubbling beneath the surface. Yet, when he spoke, his voice was carefully measured, stripped of any emotion. Her usual sarcasm sliced through the tension. As Claire closed her eyes, a moment of vulnerability washing over her, a delightful surge of laughter bubbled within her. Yet Sam remained on the line, her voice steady and warm. She wasn't raising her voice. Instead, she was reaching out, seeking something more. In that moment, it was undeniably Sam, a presence that anchored Claire just enough as she leaned in closer, her back pressed against the cool wall. A shaky smile danced on her lips as Claire swallowed nervously, summoning the courage to speak, turning thoughts into reality, a dinner, perhaps, or a night of bowling, something to spark a connection, delightful something she sought for the perfect words that captured the essence of her fervent desire, something to help her erase the memory of him. Another heartbeat of silence, and Claire held her breath. This was it, the edge of everything, as Sam's voice emerged, low and steady, carrying a weight of unspoken emotions. A subtle quiver lingered just beneath the surface, a quiver that Claire might have conjured in her mind or perhaps yearned for with all her heart. As the sun dipped low in the sky, casting a warm glow, I turned to you with a playful smile. "All right, my dear, it's your turn now," I said, a hint of challenge in my voice. "But be warned, I won't go easy on you." As the tension thickened, silence enveloped the space, yet an undeniable spark lingered in the air. Claire sank slowly to the floor, her heart racing with anticipation, until she found herself seated on the floor, the phone still held tightly in her grasp, a sense of bewilderment washing over her. With a heart racing and a thrill coursing through her veins, a laugh finally broke free from her lips as she embraced the moment she had just accepted. Jake's challenge lingered in her mind as she had just summoned the courage to ask her best friend out on a genuine date. And Sam had agreed. And in that moment, the universe didn't collapse. It merely swayed dramatically, as if caught in a passionate dance of conflict. With Jake became a faint memory, overshadowed by the exhilarating yet daunting silence that enveloped the moment after Sam's consent. What had she just begun? The first day unfolded with an electric energy in the air, a promise of something new and enchanting. With a flutter of unfamiliar excitement coursing through her, Claire stood before her full-length mirror, a stark contrast to the decade-long friendship that had defined her life. For the 10th time, she scrutinized her ensemble. Dark jeans paired with a soft cobalt blue top, each piece whispering secrets of elegance and allure. A cozy sweater that accentuated her captivating eyes, paired with boots that struck the perfect balance between charm and functionality. "It's just bowling," she murmured to her reflection, trying to dismiss the frantic flutter in her stomach. "With Sam, your best friend, who you invited me out to help you move on from your past, which feels completely natural." A sudden knock echoed through the room, with a decisive sound resonating through the apartment. Claire leaped, her heart racing as she took one final, steadying breath. With a gentle breath, she smoothed her sweater and opened the door, finding Sam leaning casually against the doorframe, radiating a casual confidence that made Claire's breath catch. Sam had traded the usual band tees and hoodies for something that perfectly accentuated their allure. Fitted black jeans, a simple charcoal gray t-shirt, and the pièce de résistance, a well-loved, buttery soft black leather jacket that seemed to have been sculpted to her figure, her dark hair cascading gently. Her hair fell in delightful disarray, and the playful smirk she often wore had shifted into a more tender, intentional expression, a flirtatious smile that sparkled with promise. Her gaze lingered on Claire, a spark igniting within her. "Wow," Sam breathed, her voice barely above a whisper. The warm rays of sunshine embraced the moment. "Lovely." Claire felt a gentle warmth rise to her cheeks. "Stop it. You look wonderful." Wonderful was a criminal understatement. Sam exuded an air of effortless cool, dangerously attractive, and entirely unlike the Claire, the one who always shared popcorn during our cozy movie nights, was about to face the playful challenge as Sam pushed off the doorframe, ready to bring some excitement into the evening. With a grin that widened, she declared, "Oh, it's on. Prepare for humiliation, Summers," as she extended her arm invitingly, with a charmingly antiquated chivalry that brought a smile to Claire's lips, easing the tension that hung in the air as Claire looped her arm through Sam's, the cool leather under her fingers sending a delightful shiver through her. The bowling alley was the melody of clattering pins, the playful beeps of the arcade, and the soft pulse of pop music filled the air, carried a subtle aroma of aged popcorn, a hint of disinfectant, and the lingering essence of greasy pizza. Claire, amidst the familiar chaos of Sam's playful banter, a sense of ease began to wash over them as they rented Claire's shoes gleamed in a striking teal, while Sam's choice of fluorescent orange was anything but understated. Together, they painted the world around them with a vibrant splash of color, a testament to their bold personalities and the electric chemistry that sparked between them. "It's overrated," Sam declared, his eyes sparkling with mischief as he turned to Elaine. "All right, hot shot," he teased, a playful grin spreading across his face. Claire hefted the surprisingly heavy purple bowling ball, a glimmer of determination in her eyes. "Show me what you got," she challenged. Stepping up for her first turn, with unwavering resolve, she positioned herself with precision, taking deliberate steps as she gracefully swung her arm, sending forth the. As the ball veered wildly into the gutter, she let out a soft groan, while Sam's chuckle resonated like a warm, rich melody in the air that resonated through the bustling alley. A sultry summer's evening, oh so smooth, she glided forward, up to the line. Her movements were graceful and purposeful. She didn't dwell on her actions. She simply flowed. With a graceful motion, the ball glided down the lane, its swift and powerful descent captivating all. It collided with the pins, creating a delightful symphony of sound that echoed through the air. "Strike." Claire gaped. "Okay, show off. Beginner's luck." Sam just winked, a playful glint in his eye. Retrieving her ball, she laughed. "Nah, just natural talent." The game carried on, filled with delightful moments. The stark contrast between Claire's complete ineptitude on the bowling lane and Sam's unexpected skill was palpable. As Claire's ball appeared, magnetically drawn to the gutters while Sam effortlessly racked up spares and strikes. Yet Claire sensed something deeper beneath the surface. Whenever Sam bowled right after her, her shot seemed to falter, leaving a pin standing here and there. A reminder of the perfection that danced just out of reach. There it was, a delicate yet unmistakable shift. After Claire achieved something truly remarkable, with a dramatic flair, she threw her hands up in feigned despair, exclaiming, "I suck at this," as the gutter ball unexpectedly leaped over the lane divider. This was not her moment, but the playful spirit of the game lingered in the air. With a teasing smile, Sam leaned casually against the ball return, her eyes sparkling with mischief as she watched her. "Yeah," she replied, a hint of playful challenge in her voice. With a playful smile, she teased, "You kind of do," before picking up her ball and striding confidently toward the lane. Not glancing back, her voice softened as she spoke. "But I'm trying to impress you," she confessed, her aim faltering. With a hint of uncertainty, Claire stood still, the sounds of the alley momentarily slipping away as Sam remained close, his presence grounding her in that fleeting moment. As I gazed at her, she remained intent on the lane ahead. Yet her casual admission sent a thrill through Claire, as if she were trying to capture my attention. A playful smile from before, the allure of the leather jacket, and the tantalizingly misplaced pins all weaved together in a dance of attraction. It wasn't merely Sam being himself. There was a purpose behind it all. For her, Sam's actions were like a carefully thrown ball, full of intention and meaning. It was a fair attempt, yet it fell short of her usual brilliance as she turned, capturing Claire's astonished gaze. Sam merely shrugged, a delicate flush gracing her cheeks. Even in the soft glow of the dim light, it became clear that I had a penchant for playing dirty. By the time we reached the third game, Claire had somehow turned the tide in a miraculous way, secured victory in the final moments by the narrowest of margins. All due to Sam's unexpectedly lackluster performance in the last frame. They were both flushed and laughing, the initial awkwardness melting away, replaced by a delightful shared energy as they exchanged their. With a playful smirk, Sam gestured towards the exit, his eyes sparkling with mischief. "Those shoes are hideous," he teased, "but how about we forget about them over some ice cream? My treat." "Of course, you look like you could use a sweet escape." As if sweetness were the remedy for the heartache of loss. The night air wrapped around me, cool and soothing, a gentle embrace that stood in stark contrast to the shadows of the alley. Amidst the heaviness of the evening, they stumbled upon a quaint, vintage ice cream parlor, its inviting glow spilling softly onto the street. On the sidewalk, they nestled closely together on a wrought iron bench, Claire's hair cascading in a magnificent swirl that caught the light of mint chocolate chip ice cream alongside a modest cup of coffee. They settled into a serene silence, occasionally broken by soft, shared glances. Only by the gentle scrape of spoons and the distant sounds of the city did Claire steal glances at Sam, bathed in the soft, enchanting glow of the evening light. Under the soft glow of the street lamp, the leather jacket hung open, unveiling the casual gray t-shirt beneath. Sam appeared at ease, her sharp features softened by the warm light. Her features softened, a delicate smile gracing her lips as she observed the world around her, the ebb and flow of life passing by. "Is this still your best date ever?" Sam asked suddenly, her voice soft, her gaze unwavering, straight ahead. Though Claire could sense the heaviness of the question, she pondered it. "Not the bowling, not even the sweet treat. the fluttering sensation, the effortless blend of comfort and exhilarating anticipation. The way some had gazed at her, the intentional allure of the misty pins attempting to captivate. She embraced it all. She savored a slow bite of her ice cream, the mint cool and sweet against her tongue, a delightful treat that lingered like a cherished memory. She finally spoke, her words mirroring the message she had sent. But her voice was softer, warmer. She gently nudged. Sam's shoulder brushed against Claire's, a playful challenge lingering in the air. Sam turned her head, her dark eyes locking onto Claire's with a teasing glint. Her smile faded, replaced by a profound intensity that filled the air between them. Her gaze danced down to Claire's lips before returning, charged with unspoken longing. Holding her gaze, the air between them thickened, charged with an unspoken question. Claire's breath hitched, the moment heavy with anticipation. The world around them faded, leaving only the bench beneath them, the street lamps casting a warm glow, the intoxicating scent of coffee mingling with mint, and Sam's unwavering gaze that made Claire's heart flutter. An almost magnetic urge to close the tiny, charged distance between them. Sam's eyes held steady, captivated by the moment. For a heartbeat longer, she held his gaze, the world around them fading into a soft blur. But then, as if awakening from a dream, she looked away, breaking the enchanting moment. Clearing her throat, she redirected her attention, intent on the task at hand, As she savored the last bit of coffee ice cream from her cup, a playful smile danced on her lips. "Challenge accepted," she murmured, her voice carrying a hint of huskiness that sent a thrill through the air. As the moment slipped away, its resonance lingered deep within Claire, the unfulfilled kiss suspended in the atmosphere, rich and electric. As Sam drove her home, the once comfortable silence now felt different, charged, alive with unspoken emotions. Claire gazed out the window, the city lights swirling into a beautiful haze. Yet her thoughts were consumed by the memory of that captivating look in Sam's eyes. What began as a light-hearted challenge had transformed into something deeper, something genuine and utterly daunting. And exhilarating as Sam arrived outside Claire's building, the engine falling silent. The stillness wrapped around them like a promise, waiting to be fulfilled. "Thank you," Claire murmured, her voice barely above a whisper, "for making me for stirring emotions within me that I never anticipated." Sam turned to her, the dashboard lights danced gently, casting soft shadows across her face, leaving her expression a tantalizing mystery. But her eyes radiated that same deep warmth whenever sunshine. Claire faltered. Her hand lingered on the door handle, the air in the car heavy with unspoken words, and the weight of moments that nearly unfolded. She stood on the brink of something profound. Felt it then. An undeniable and profound sensation. Something shifted. It wasn't merely forgetting Jake was no longer an option. It was a thrilling, heart-pounding realization of being on the brink of something profound. Stepping into the cool night air, she felt a thrilling sense of newness with the one who understood her most deeply. As the warmth enveloped her, Sam lingered, his heart racing, until she stepped inside, before finally easing into the drive. As she stood alone in her serene apartment, the lingering sweetness of mint chocolate chip danced on her tongue, intertwined with the haunting memory of Sam's intense gaze, etched into her very being. The dynamics had shifted, and now the stakes were higher than ever. Sunlight poured in, warm and insistent, as Claire's eyelids fluttered open, her gaze blinking against the brightness. Momentarily disoriented, enveloped in the tender embrace of her own sheets, the echoes of a cherished dream, laughter dancing in the air, the intoxicating aroma of leather and coffee mingling with the sweetness of ice cream, the magnetic pull of deep, dark eyes lingered in her mind, enveloping her in a delightful warmth. In her chest, a flutter ignited as a reality settled in the bowling alley. The sweet indulgence of ice cream, and Sam, who lingered in her thoughts like a warm embrace. As Jake drew closer, the warmth enveloped her, coursing through her limbs like a gentle tide, igniting a low, simmering sensation within her. The delightful warmth coursed through her, and she savored the moment, stretching in a slow, indulgent manner as she embraced the sensations enveloping her. Found herself smiling, not merely a polite smile, but a radiant, unguarded grin that felt both unfamiliar and perfectly fitting as she recalled the evening. Sam's playful smile framed in the doorway, the smooth touch of leather against her skin. Under her fingers, the unexpected skill at bowling, the careful aim at the pins. "I'm trying to win your heart." An electric stillness enveloped them on the bench as Sam's eyes fell to her lips, sending a flutter through her stomach. Oh, it wasn't. It was a whirlwind of emotions, a delightful mix of amusement and relief at the thought of leaving Jake behind. Confusion danced with exhilaration, and affection lingered in the air, creating a beautiful chaos. An unwavering bond she had always cherished with her closest companion. Yet beneath it all, a fresh flicker of desire began to emerge, irresistible and captivating. The way Sam had appeared in that jacket, the soft timbre of her voice when she let her guard down, with a hint of sarcasm. The intensity in her eyes made Claire's cheeks flush at the mere thought of it. It felt both dangerous and thrilling, like a secret waiting to be uncovered. Perched at the brink of the high dive, she reclined against the cool surface, her gaze drifting upward to the ceiling. What does this mean? The question lingered in the air, yet rather than fear, an unexpected tranquility enveloped her. The smile lingered, for hidden within the chaos was a truth she could not ignore. She felt a sense of lightness and hope, a feeling that Jake's promises had never quite managed to evoke within her. She had not once allowed her thoughts to drift to Jake throughout the night, and awakening with the sound of Sam's laughter echoing in her mind felt profoundly meaningful to her. The phone buzzed softly on the nightstand, and her heart fluttered with a treacherous excitement before she even glanced at the screen. It was Sam, always Sam, the one who made her heart race and her world feel alive. Was it the most memorable date, or did the trauma of the gutter ball overshadow it all? Claire laughed softly. In the hushed stillness of the room, the vibrant sound filled the air, weaving through the gentle exchanges and the comforting cadence of shared laughter. Still there, yet it felt transformed, electric with a playful energy she had never sensed before. As she typed, with her fingers dancing gracefully, Claire soared to the top 3. Just as I mentioned, gutter balls hold their own charm. Life experience. My dear, you'll need to put in more effort to captivate me. Novak, was the response. With a spark of excitement, Sam embraced the challenge, ready to immerse himself in a summer filled with enchanting moments that would leave everyone breathless. Breakfast awaits, where I whip up the most delightful pancakes. Or are you still lost in the sweet haze of indulgence? Claire's grin widened as she envisioned pancakes at Sam's. The warmth of the invitation enveloped her, stirring a flutter of excitement within. Another warm wave washed over her, a dazzling moment that captivated me. But I must caution you, my sweet pancake. The expectations weigh heavily upon me, and as I savor the mint chip, I ask for a gentle touch with the syrup. Dear Sam, the pressure feels almost insurmountable. Standards, my dear, echo the sweet whispers of Jake's voice. We shall recalibrate our hearts and meet in 30. Bring your essence along. With a heart full of longing, Claire flopped back onto the pillows, clutching her phone to her chest. A sense of anticipation lingered in the air as she thought, we'll recalibrate. While Sam watched her with a knowing gaze, with a graceful ease, she surpassed the modest expectations Jake had established. And as she prepared, their messages flowed intermittently, filled with a playful charm. In a spirited discussion, the merits of various pancake toppings were passionately explored, with a particular fondness for the rich allure of real maple syrup taking center stage. Sweetness or nothing at all. Claire, a delightful swirl of whipped cream and luscious berries awaits. You rascal, what a charming exchange. As Claire dedicated herself to the game, her skills blossomed with each passing moment. The joy of improvement felt effortless, a delightful dance of practice and passion. A gentle hum of connection enveloped the morning, infusing it with a sense of brightness and endless possibility. As she stood there, humming softly as she slipped into her jeans and sweater, the tangled web of emotions transforming into a warm, radiant glow within her, experienced a profound sense of being cherished and understood. Free from the constraints of Jake's timing the atmosphere shifted as the truth dawned, both strikingly clear and deeply resonant. Her phone buzzed again. Not Sam. This time, the screen illuminated with a name that felt jarringly out of place, like a discordant note in a symphony of emotions. In a tender moment, Jake felt the soft glow fade just a touch, as the familiar knot of emotion tightened within him. Unease began to stir within her, an instinctive urge to seek reassurance taking hold. She reached for the phone, her thumb lingering above the notification, his name glowing softly on the screen. Last night lingers in the air, a whisper of unspoken words. The message glows, urging me to reach out. We need to talk. It says, a promise of revelations waiting to unfold. Call me. It beckons, and my heart races at the thought of what lies ahead. Confront his heartless challenge. Pursue her despite the rejection. The casual indifference of departure. She stood on the curb, a figure of longing, the weight of years spent as an afterthought heavy upon her heart. The memory of Sam, leaning against her doorframe, lingered in the air, a bittersweet reminder of what could have been. A leather jacket draped over his shoulders, a flirty grin danced on his lips, hinting at the attention he was ready to offer. Replacing Jake's earlier impatience, with a furrowed brow, Claire hesitated, her heart not racing as it usually did at the sight of a message. The familiar longing to respond and mend the rift was absent, leaving her in a quiet moment of contemplation. She found herself unable to conjure excuses for him. Instead, an unfamiliar emptiness enveloped her, an exhilarating void where the worry once lingered. The joyful thrill from messaging Sam had not disappeared. It had. Jake's message faded into insignificance, a remnant of a life she was gracefully leaving behind, embraced by a serene resolve that took her by surprise. Claire swiftly dismissed the notification with a decisive swipe. Ignore. She placed the phone slipped from her grasp, the screen dimming as Jake's plea for a conversation dissolved into the background, overshadowed by the sweet thrill of waiting for Sam, the enticing aroma of pancakes wafting through the air, and the comforting warmth of a laugh that danced in her mind. The shift was not merely occurring. It was embedding itself profoundly and authentically for the first. In that moment, Claire felt a sense of belonging she hadn't experienced in ages, as if she were on a path leading her to someone special. Her smile blossomed even before she left the warmth of her bed, a delightful mix of confusion and exhilaration swirling within her. Yet it was a delightful uncertainty bathed in warmth. She snatched her jacket, eager for what lay ahead. Fluffy pancakes awaited their moment to shine, poised for the delightful surprises that lay ahead in this unfolding chapter. Fills the atmosphere at Maya's gathering, where the pulsating beats intertwine with the lively conversations of guests. In a crowded room where bodies pressed together like a tangled web, Claire grasped her plastic cup of lukewarm beer, seeking solace and a sense of stability amidst the chaos that surrounded her. Amidst the delightful whirlwind of college friendships and fleeting encounters, she had eagerly anticipated this enchanting evening spent with. Sam had an opportunity to deepen this thrilling new connection. Far from the fervor of their intimate encounters, yet it often seemed like a far-off land. Sam was the center of attention near the improvised bar, a folding table adorned with an array of bottles and a mysteriously radiant punch bowl, poised to capture the attention of all who dare to approach. Against the wall, she exuded an air of effortless allure, clad in ripped black jeans and a deep burgundy button-down, the sleeves casually rolled up, hinting at a bold spirit beneath her stylish exterior. Her forearms were expressive as she spoke animatedly to Lena, a dear friend from their artistic circle. In the midst of history class, Lena's laughter danced through the air as she tossed her dark hair, leaning in close, her curiosity sparkling as she sought to catch every whispered word. As the music played softly in the background, Sam's hand brushed gently against Lena's arm, a tender connection that sent a thrill through the air. Her smile was wide and effortless, radiating a charm that captivated everyone around her as she made her point. With a flirty grin that Claire had once believed was meant only for their special date, she observed the fizzy warmth from earlier beginning to curdle into something cold and heavy in her stomach. Sam spoke again, and Lena tilted her head back, laughter spilling forth like a melody, pure and genuine. As she gently placed her hand on Sam's shoulder, she urged me to approach it as if it were a date. The idea struck Claire unexpectedly, an unwelcome thought that lingered in the air. What she does on dates is effortlessly flirtatious, leaving Charmina with a sharp pang of longing, startlingly fierce. It pierced through her jealousy, hot, acidic, and utterly consuming, bewildering. It wasn't the subtle discomfort she occasionally experienced when Jake charmed others, which had always been more about wounded pride. This sensation was achingly intimate, as if something dear was being. With a heart full of unspoken emotions, Claire averted her gaze, her eyes drawn to the delicate pattern on her cup, as if it held the secrets of her longing. She took a moment to lose herself in its intricate design. She took a sip of her beer, the flavor unexpectedly dull and uninviting. A wave of frustration washed over her, leaving her to wonder why it affected her so deeply. Wasn't this just Sam being his charming self? The same Sam who playfully teased her without a care, yet somehow made her heart flutter. He was always the same Sam, the one who let her triumph at bowling and made her feel like a ray of sunshine. Yet the contrast was striking. The flirty, charming persona Sam was displaying felt like a mask, concealing the true Sam Claire knew, the one with a. In those tender moments, a soft side emerged, reserved just for her. His intense gaze enveloped Claire, making her feel like the sole focus of his world. She risked another glance. Sam was still engrossed in conversation with Lena, her body fully angled towards her, radiating engagement. Claire felt like a ghost, drifting unnoticed in the background. The sweet thrill from their messages, the comforting glow of waking up with thoughts of Sam's laughter, it all felt delicate, as if it could be easily disrupted by. Sam's effortless performance revealed a connection that Claire felt deep within her heart. Just a piece of Sam's scheme to help her move on from Jake. The thought hit her like a frigid wave, gasping for breath, yearning for something more. With a determined heart, Claire navigated her way through the throng, seeking refuge in the kitchen. It offered a slight reprieve from the bustling crowd, though it remained alive with the chatter of lively souls, refilling drinks and grabbing snacks. She leaned against the counter, closing her eyes for a moment, attempting to calm an unsettling blend of jealousy and pain swirled within her as the kitchen door creaked open. Claire felt no need to glance up. She sensed him before she saw him, a palpable change in the air that made her heart race. "Hey," she whispered, her voice barely above a breath. Sam's voice was light and carefree as she leaned against the counter next to Claire, playfully snatching a handful of pretzels. Bull Lena was just sharing her thoughts on that disastrous gallery opening last week, calling it an absolute train wreck. She popped with a pretzel resting in her mouth. She appeared blissfully unaware of the tempest swirling just beside her. Claire kept her gaze fixed on the opposite wall. Looked like you were having fun. The words slipped from her lips, clipped and sharper than she intended. As she gazed towards the midship, her heart fluttered. Captivated by the delicate contours of Claire's profile, it was a moment suspended in time, where every detail seemed to shimmer with unspoken possibilities, captivating in a way that stirs a sense of intrigue, drawing you in with a hint of mystery. As you find yourself wondering about the depths of emotion behind that gaze, in a moment thick with emotion, Claire finally turned to confront her, the turmoil of confusion and hurt spilling forth like an unrestrained tide. Why would I feel a flutter of tension as I watch my best friend pour her heart into our little endeavor to help Claire move on from Jake? As if it were a matter of the utmost importance. In the playground, Sam's eyebrows shot up, the casual mask slipping away to reveal a genuine expression. Astonishment swiftly intertwined with a spark of another emotion, a hint of protectiveness. Whoa, okay, what's that supposed to mean? You know what it means? Claire gestured vaguely towards the living room, a playful glint in her eye. With Lena unleashing her captivating charm, you suggested I approach it as if it were a date, Sam, and you're certainly embracing that idea. Her expression shifted, a steely resolve taking hold as she crossed her arms and leaned back. Yeah, she replied, a hint of defiance in her voice. Exactly, she retorted, her voice losing its casual ease and gaining an edge. I was advised to approach this like a romantic outing, a chance to help you move on from him. So here I am, embracing the charm, weaving in flirtation, and savoring every moment of joy we share. What's the problem? Claire, isn't that what you wanted? Her gaze was challenging, almost brittle, not like a false one. Words lingered in the air, sharp and accusatory, causing Claire to flinch. It was the very thing she had uttered, the initial dare that set everything in motion. But everything had transformed since that moment: the bowling alley, the almost kiss, the pancakes, the endless messages. The way she awoke, her heart fluttering at the memory of Sam's laughter, a sound so genuine it lingered in her mind like a sweet melody, never once feeling insincere. The revelation washed over her like a gentle tide, dispelling the shadows of jealousy and pain, illuminating the vulnerability reflected in Sam's gaze. The fierce struggle was not solely about Lena. It was the protective shield that Sam concealed within himself, concealing the playful banter, veiling the act, escaping the daunting intimacy of what lay beneath. What was unfolding between them felt like a dance of emotions. She approached it as if it were a date, sensing the intensity and thrill that made it all too real, too perilous. The illusion was the only thing that felt insincere. Claire gazed at Sam, her eyes piercing through the tough exterior of the leather jacket, revealing the depths of his soul beneath. With a hint of sarcasm dancing on the edge of uncertainty, the bravado began to wane, and the jealousy slowly faded away. Overwhelmed by a wave of deep realization and a daring spirit ignited by that clarity, this was not merely about Lena. This was about them, about the thrilling and heart-pounding edge they were walking together. Dancing on, her voice softened, shedding its sharpness and embracing a raw, unexpected warmth, intensity. Perhaps, Claire murmured, her eyes locked with Sam's, the words slipping out before she could hold them back. Silence enveloped the moment, a heavy shroud that felt all too real, leaving no room for pretense. I longed for authenticity, yet found myself caught in a web of unspoken words, the melodies drifting from the living room, the whispers echoing from the hallway, all melded into a distant hum. Sam stood still, the fragile tension hanging in the air. Her defensiveness crumbled, giving way to a stunned disbelief as her dark eyes widened in surprise. Gazing into Claire's eyes, yearning for a glimmer of jest, a whisper of untruth, she discovered nothing but a raw, vulnerable honesty that reflected the very fear Sam held within. She had been striving with all her might to conceal the way Sam's breath caught, a soft, almost imperceptible sound lingering in the air. In the unexpected stillness of the bustling kitchen, her meticulously built defenses appeared to waver, leaving her feeling completely vulnerable, surprised and unprepared. The playful charm vanished, leaving the atmosphere charged with tension. With unvoiced sentiments and the daunting burden of Claire's revelation, the electric tension that had lingered just below the surface, the polished exterior of the bowling alley, the allure of the leather jacket, and the unmistakable charm that lingered in the air, ignited into an almost tangible force, drawing them closer across the intimate space, while the rest of the party faded into the background. Lena! In that moment, Jake faded away, leaving only the edge of a cliff, a heavy stillness enveloping the air, and an electrifying moment of undeniable connection lingered in the air, a thrilling truth suspended between them, leading to the inevitable seventh chapter, the kiss. The stillness that enveloped the room after Claire's heartfelt revelation in the kitchen was more than mere silence. It was a palpable presence, heavy and electric. As the world around them faded into a soft, distant murmur, Sam's gaze was fixed on her, captivated by the moment that felt suspended in time. Completely motionless, the pretzel left behind in her grasp, the playful facade, the fragile defensiveness crumbled, leaving in its wake a raw, stunned vulnerability within her. His dark eyes were wide, searching Claire's face with an intensity that stole her breath, seeking any hint of withdrawal, discovering only the same thrilling and heart-pounding truth that had propelled Claire's words. Sam remained silent, her breath escaping in a tremulous sigh. Her breath was almost imperceptible as she slowly uncrossed her arms, the movement carrying a weight of significance, akin to the lowering of a drawbridge. Then, without uttering a single word, she turned and gently pushed open the kitchen door, stepping back into the lively chaos. Yet, she did not move forward. With determination, she strode directly to the apartment's front door, her posture unwavering and her shoulders squared, a silent storm brewing within her. Claire moved forward, drawn by an irresistible force. As the celebration around her transformed into a whirlwind of vibrant hues and enchanting sounds, they glided through the air like whispers, unnoticed by the world around them. Yet the undeniable spark of connection danced in the space between. The weight of their shared moments drew them closer to the threshold. Sam reached for her jacket, nestled among the scattered belongings by the door, not bothering to put it on, and held it open for Claire. The simple gesture, in the context of everything, felt monumental. The cool night air caressed Claire's flushed face, a gentle blessing as they stepped outside, the distant hum of the city fading into the background. A distant siren's wail provided a soothing contrast to the overwhelming clamor of the party as Sam began to walk, matching her own rhythm to the world around her. With a swift determination, she moved towards her apartment, and Claire fell into step beside her, their proximity igniting a spark that was impossible to ignore. The warmth emanating from Sam, even amidst the crisp air, yet remaining just out of reach with every step. She felt electrified. Claire's heart raced wildly within her chest, a desperate rhythm echoing against the serene stillness of the night. She stole glances at Sam's profile, illuminated intermittently by the passing streetlights. Sam's jaw was tight, her heart raced, her gaze remained steadfast, unwavering. Yet the initial shock had transformed into a profound, concentrated intensity. It was an unmistakable shift. The fervor Claire had witnessed when Sam immersed herself in a challenging dilemma, or when she stood resolutely in defense of what she cherished. Now, it turned entirely inward, grappling with the weight of Claire's revelation as they approached on the familiar stoop of Sam's apartment building. She fumbled slightly with her keys, the metallic jangle echoing in the stillness, a sound that felt almost out of place. In the quiet of the night, she gently unlocked the outer door, holding it wide as Claire stepped inside. Enveloped by the comforting scent of home, the ancient structure would embrace the dust and softly cradle Sam's lingering scent of coffee. As they ascended the stairs, a wave of unspoken emotions enveloped them, their footsteps resonating softly in the dimly lit stairwell. The air was thick with an undeniable tension that lingered between them. Dissipated, it had condensed, becoming almost suffocating in its closeness. Sam unlocked her apartment door and pushed it open, stepping aside to let Claire enter first. The familiar space welcomed them both, filled with memories and unspoken words. In a slightly cluttered living room, the bookshelves overflow with stories waiting to be discovered, while the soft glow of a street lamp gently filters through the window, casting a warm embrace over the space. The air was thick with anticipation as Sam closed the door behind them, the blinds casting shadows that felt charged with unspoken emotions. The gentle click resonated like a starting signal in the hushed Claire, lingering just inside the doorway, suddenly filled with uncertainty. The boldness that had driven her revelation in the bustling kitchen had diminished, giving way to a quivering fragility. What now the edge they stood upon felt exhilaratingly steep. She turned to meet. Sam leaned back against the closed door, his gaze fixed on her. His expression was a mystery, a tempest of emotions swirling just beneath the surface. Emotions danced just beneath the surface, hope warring with fear, longing intertwined with disbelief. All heightened by the intensity of her gaze was nearly intoxicating. The silence hung heavy and charged with anticipation. Claire could hear her own pulse thundering in her ears. The distance between them felt like miles and millimeters all at once. She took a shaky breath, the words trembling on her lips before doubt could creep in. "Can I?" Claire's voice was barely a whisper. With a voice trembling with unspoken feelings, she hesitated, her heart racing. "Can I stay over?" she asked. her gaze locked on him, searching for a response. Sam remained still, the air thick with anticipation. In the depths of his dark and fathomless gaze, Claire felt a flicker of understanding ignite between them. Perhaps a shared vulnerability flickered across her face. Then slowly, the corner of her mouth lifted in a whisper of her familiar, gentle smile. It wasn't flirty, but it held a warmth that lingered in the air, wasn't laced with irony. It was soft and completely filled with warmth. I believe Sam expressed it through her voice. Her voice, low and husky, resonated in the quiet room, filling the space with an undeniable warmth. It was as if she had already made this place her home, weaving her emotions into every corner. Paused, her gaze deepening with warmth, as she contemplated the implications of it all. Much of your belongings have journeyed through the years, leaving me both surprised and slightly breathless. A laugh escaped Claire, shattering the unbearable tension, while Sam's soft chuckle lingered in the air, intertwined with hers, a comforting embrace that bridged the vast expanse of uncertainty. For a fleeting moment, their eyes met, laughter dancing between them in the soft glow, the shared sound creating a delicate connection. Amidst the bond they cherished and the thrilling, daunting future that awaited them, the laughter gradually ebbed away, leaving a poignant silence. Amidst a deep silence, the atmosphere shimmered with a new tension, a different kind of fear lingering in the air. The uncertainty lingered, yet it was beautifully intertwined with an irresistible and undeniable attraction. Claire felt the undeniable pull in Sam's gaze, a captivating energy that beckoned her closer. Sam pushed off the door, taking a single step closer. They were mere inches apart now, and Claire could see the warm glow of amber in his eyes. Sam's dark eyes held a depth of emotion, the slight tremor in her lower lip betraying her vulnerability. In that moment, the world around them faded away, leaving only the electric connection in the space between them, their breaths mingling in a shared intimacy, to the unvoiced inquiry lingering in the atmosphere, gradually offering Sam every opportunity to. As Claire leaned in, it was not a sudden movement, but a deliberate one, filled with intention and longing, an exquisitely tender fall. Her eyes gently closed as her lips met. Sam's breath was hesitant at first, a soft inquiry brushed against Sam's lips, gentle exploration of truth, a liberation from the weight of unspoken feelings and uncertainty. An overwhelming sensation that had blossomed over weeks, months, perhaps even years, caused Sam to come to an abrupt halt. For a heartbeat, then, as if a dam had broken, she kissed Claire back. It wasn't hesitant. It lacked gentleness. It was a wave of raw, unrestrained feeling, built up over years, an unspoken desire. Sam's hands gently cradled Claire's face, as if to capture the very essence of her being. Startling tenderness enveloped her as he slid around her waist, drawing her close with a possessiveness that captivated Claire's heart. Breathless, Sam kissed her as if she were the very air he needed to survive, as if she had been waiting for an eternity for this precise moment to unfold between them. Her lips met Claire's with an intense, yearning passion that soon transformed into a profound, soul-stirring warmth. It was a gradual, profound embrace, utterly captivating, a wordless revelation more powerful than anything spoken. Claire melted into the moment, her hands seeking the cool leather of the jacket that still rested over Sam's arm, then sliding up to tangle in the soft hair at the nape of Sam's neck. The world melted away, the apartment, the city, Jake. The past faded into oblivion, leaving only this moment, the sensation of Sam's lips against mine, the sweetness of her, the comforting heat of her form against mine, the undeniable feeling of belonging that washed over me. Claire felt every doubt and fear dissolve as Sam kissed her, a tender embrace that spoke of longing and unspoken promises. Longed for this moment for years, and in that kiss, Claire finally discovered the depth of her feelings. She realized this journey was not merely about letting go of Jake. It was about discovering Sam, and it enveloped her like a warm embrace, a feeling of returning to a place she had always belonged. Part 8. As dawn broke, the first feeling that enveloped them was a gentle warmth. Not merely the embrace of the Huve entwined around their bodies, but a profound heat that resonated deep within their souls. The enveloping heat of a beloved figure nestled intimately against her, as Claire moved gently towards, wrapped in a warm, dreamy embrace, where the sunlight dances softly, casting a golden glow of bliss all around. The soft light poured through the gap in Sam's curtains, casting golden stripes across the tousled sheets, and illuminating dust motes danced in the air, her cheek resting gently on Sam's shoulder, her arm draped loosely across him. Sam's waist beneath the covers, his arm a solid, comforting weight around her, enveloped her in a sense of safety and warmth. With his fingers gently resting on her upper arm, Claire could feel the rhythmic rise and fall of Sam's chest beneath her. The rhythmic thud of her heartbeat played a soothing melody, harmonizing with the gentle morning sounds that drifted in from on the street below. She remained still, hesitant to draw in a deep breath, fearful that even the slightest movement might break the delicate moment. In that perfect, fragile piece of the moment. Memories of the night before cascaded over her like a gentle tide. The charged silence enveloped her as she walked home, each step echoing with the lingering magic of what had transpired. Raw vulnerability lingered at the threshold as the devastatingly soft question escaped Sam's tender lips. An achingly sincere response, the laughter that eased the strain, followed by the kiss slow, deep, and intensely vivid. It didn't end there. Their lips wandered, hands discovering softly spoken secrets in the shadows. The intoxicating feeling of at last, finding her true place in the world. The intensity, the tenderness, the sheer rightness of it still hummed in her veins as she shifted ever so slightly. Tilting her, Claire leaned in just enough to catch a glimpse of Sam's face, her features serene and untroubled in a way that Claire seldom witnessed when she was awake. She was awake, the usual sharpness and guarded sarcasm softened. Enveloped in a shadowy allure, her lashes fluttered delicately against her cheeks, lips slightly parted in a breathless moment, while a wayward strand of dark hair cascaded across her forehead. Claire experienced a wave of deep emotion that left her momentarily speechless, captivated by this fierce, witty individual who harbored a tender heart beneath their sharp exterior, had welcomed her in fully. As if attuned to her gaze, Sam fluttered her eyelids, fluttering open. Dark eyes blinked slowly, adjusting to the light as they focused on. Claire stood mere inches away, and for a heartbeat, there was a flicker of something electric in the air, an unexpected twist of fate, yet it vanished in an instant, giving way to a gentle awakening. The warmth enveloped Claire, reflecting her own emotions as a slow, dreamy smile blossomed on Sam's lips, crinkling the corners in a tender way. In her gaze, there was a smile that held no trace of sarcasm or armor, simply pure and unguarded warmth, set aside just for this instant. He whispered, "Hey!" His voice husky with emotion. Sleep enveloped them, deeper and more intimate than Claire had ever known. "Hey!" she whispered back, her own smile blossoming in the warmth of the moment. The simple greeting hung in the air, heavy with the unspoken emotions that had transformed their connection. They lay there, enveloped in the silence that spoke volumes. For a long moment, they simply gazed at one another, basking in the warm glow of the sun, enveloped in a serene stillness as the world beyond the city began to stir awake. Amidst the chaos of existence, everything felt beautifully remote. There was no hint of discomfort, no shadow of remorse, only an overwhelming tranquility that enveloped the heart, and a gentle, pulsing delight filled the air as Claire delicately traced a light finger along Sam's collarbone, feeling the reality of her skin, solid and warm beneath her touch. Sam's arm tightened slightly around her, drawing her infinitesimally closer. "So, Claire," finally shattered the serene stillness, her voice a soft whisper, as if raising it too high might unravel the enchantment that surrounded them. She propped herself up slightly on one elbow, gazing down at Sam with a mix of curiosity and affection. "What now?" she asked, her voice soft and inviting. His gaze lingered on hers, a thoughtful calm enveloping them. The sleepy warmth remained, yet now it felt different. With a gentle assurance, she reached up, tucking a stray strand of blonde hair behind Claire's ear. Fingers brushed softly against Claire's temple, the touch lingering with intention and tenderness. "Pancakes," Sam proposed, a hint of warmth in his voice. Her lips curled into that charming, lopsided grin, echoing the same invitation that had followed their first date. Yet now it felt different. Echoed with a profound closeness, it transcended mere breakfast, becoming a beckoning to embrace this enchanting new world. In the warm embrace of daylight, Claire's laughter rang out, a melody bright and pure. As the sunlight poured into the room, it stirred a feeling of unadulterated joy, a blissful simplicity that enveloped everything in its warm embrace. In the simplicity of the response, there was a certain perfection, devoid of any grand declarations. There was no urgency in the air, just the comforting aroma of pancakes wafting through the room. It was just the two of them, and everything felt effortlessly simple with Claire by his side. Whispered as she nestled back beside Sam, resting her head once more on his shoulder. Feeling safe and content, Sam exhaled softly, pressing a tender kiss into Claire's hair. That's how it should feel. They lay entwined, basking in the serene intimacy that enveloped them. The sunlight caressing the sheets, the future with all its uncertainties and intricacies could linger just a moment longer. For now, there was only this warmth, this closeness, this undeniable sense of belonging, and the insistent buzzing shattered the tranquil stillness. As Claire's phone, carelessly discarded on the floor from the night before, lit up and vibrated with urgency. Against the hardwood, the screen flashed Jake. The name felt jarring, like a discordant note in their serene symphony, a relic from a life that seemed like a distant memory. Claire remained calm, her heart steady, didn't feel the familiar spike of anxiety, the urge to scramble for the phone to explain and appease. Instead, a deep serenity enveloped her as she gazed at the screen, the subtle flicker accompanied by a soft, persistent hum that lingered in the air. Floorboards creaked beneath them as Sam's arm tightened around her once more. A wordless inquiry hanging in the air, unspoken yet palpable. In a moment of tender connection, she sought to offer support, all while remaining nestled in his warm embrace. Without lifting her head, Claire gently extended a hand from beneath the covers. Her fingers danced hesitantly through the air, searching for the familiar coolness of her phone. With a gentle tug, she drew it closer, the glow of the screen illuminating her face. With a serene confidence that felt almost transformative, she glided her thumb across the screen, silencing the call while still casting a lingering glance at Jake. Hesitation lingered as she clutched the phone, her gaze fixed on Jake's name in her contact list, a symbol of countless memories shared over the years. Whispers of regret, the ache of solitude, and the fading light of self-esteem it embodied. With deliberate and unhurried movements, Claire finally stepped out of the shadow. With a gentle tap, I navigated through the interface, my heart racing as I scrolled down. When I found the name that had lingered too long, a confirmation message appeared, urging me to let go. I hesitated, the weight of the decision heavy in the air, before finally choosing to delete. With a swift motion, she pressed her thumb down, and without a moment's hesitation, the name disappeared into the ether, leaving only silence in its wake. The screen faded into darkness, and Claire released the phone, allowing it to fall gently to the floor with a soft thud. She exhaled slowly, her breath lingering in the air like a whispered secret. The burden she had yet to fully recognize lifted from her heart as she nestled deeper into Sam's warm embrace, seeking solace in his presence. Her face nestled in the warm curve of Sam's neck, inhaling the familiar scent of sleep and skin. Sam remained silent, yet the unspoken connection lingered in the air. She didn't need to say a word. Instead, she simply held Claire tighter, her hand rubbing slowly, offering comfort in the warmth of their embrace. Circles on Claire's back. The silence that followed wasn't charged with tension, but filled with a profound peace. With the chapters of the past finally sealed, the horizon ahead shimmered with both promise and mystery. Called softly, yet the moment was filled with golden rays, entwined bodies, and the whisper of hope, of pancakes, and the comforting, rhythmic thump of Sam's heart beneath her ear. Something that felt a lot like home. Part 9. Defining the undefined. Gone were the meticulously planned encounters meant to divert attention from the undeniable feelings that blossomed in the tender aftermath of that moment. The initial evening unfolded with a serene intensity, a profound connection that felt undeniably authentic. It was a gradual unfolding. With a purposeful touch, they intertwined their destinies, each precious moment a delicate stitch. All while stepping out from the shadow of Jake, they found their own light. Require lavish displays or upscale dining, their encounters blossomed into journeys of mutual ease, and as the rain softly fell on that drizzly Saturday, they meandered through the quiet, echoing streets, their growing closeness palpable in the cool air. In the grand halls of a city art museum, Claire found herself irresistibly drawn to the vibrant impressionist landscapes that seemed to whisper secrets of passion and longing. Would linger, entranced by the dance of hues, while Sam, as always, found solace in the bold contrasts. In a world of stark contrasts and thought-provoking art, rather than casting judgment, Sam would simply linger, captivated by the depth and emotion that unfolded before him. Beside her shoulder, brushing against Claire's, he murmured dry observations that made Claire see the familiar paintings in a new light. "Look at that sky," Sam whispered, his voice barely above a breath. As they stood before the tempestuous hues of a Monet seascape, "It's not merely the weather. It's a tempest of emotions. I wager the man who painted this forgot his girlfriend's birthday too." Claire's resulting snort of laughter drew a sharp glance from a nearby dozen, but the shared moment of Sam's arm slipping casually around her waist as they moved on felt like in the quiet corners of their world, a secret language blossomed, one that only they understood. Coffee shops transformed into sacred havens, far removed from the bustling trends that surrounded them, the vibrant atmosphere Jake favored for connections, yet the snug, somewhat worn establishment close to Sam's apartment, adorned with an array of mismatched decor, held a certain charm. In their cherished nook, the armchair embraced them like old friends, while a perpetually grumpy cat dozed in the sunlit window, casting a watchful eye over their shared moments. Claire nestled into the familiar warmth, cocooned in the comfort of their routine. In the cozy embrace of the oversized armchair, Sam lounged effortlessly on the well-loved sofa beside her, their shared space filled with the promise of stories waiting to be discovered. Laptops. Yet more frequently, they engage in deep conversations about everything and anything that stirs their hearts. Nothing could distract Claire from the maddening demands of her work project, while Sam wrestled with the weight of her latest existential crisis, pouring her heart into the pages of her graphic novel. Exploring the depths of life's absurdity, the allure of reality unfolded like a delicate dance, where the simple pleasure of a perfectly crafted sandwich became a moment of bliss. The atmosphere was charged with an effortless charm, devoid of any pretense or act. Yearning to captivate, she leaned in, her entire being attuned to him, her deep, dark eyes locked onto his every word. Amidst the gentle ebb and flow of their conversation, Claire discovered herself revealing secrets she had long kept hidden, her occasional sharp interjections laced with an unwavering warmth and encouragement. She held tightly to her childhood fears, those whimsical dreams, and the deep-seated insecurities that Jake's neglect had etched into her heart, amplified. Sam didn't provide hollow reassurances. She extended a deep sense of empathy, enveloped in her trademark wit, which somehow transformed the fragility into a comforting embrace. Just as your third-grade teacher once explained, your clay giraffe resembled a weary donkey, a reflection of your profound inner struggles, the trepidation surrounding pottery, a wise decision to sidestep that potential disaster. And then there were the tender moments spent cuddling on the couch, which blossomed into something beautiful, an intimate tradition that unfolds after dinner, perhaps following a film, or occasionally just because they feel the pull of the moment. As Claire gravitated toward Sam's well-worn sofa, she would tuck her feet beneath her, while Sam would stretch out, inevitably drawing her closer. Claire leaned back against Sam, feeling the warmth of his chin resting gently on her head. As her arms wrapped around him, the comforting embrace around her waist, they would indulge in mindless television, share stories through the pages of books, or simply bask in the tranquility of each other's presence. In the embrace of a comfortable silence, the gentle rise and fall of Sam's breath against Claire's back created a soothing rhythm. It was within these tranquil moments that their connection deepened, wrapped in the warmth of unspoken understanding. In those tender moments, wrapped in Sam's embrace, with the delicate aroma of her laundry detergent mingling with the rich scent of coffee, Claire found herself lost in a world of bliss, a deep transformation. It transcended mere physical proximity, becoming a heartfelt connection that anchored their souls. Was the complete opposite of sitting rigidly next to Jake on his luxurious sofa, feeling worlds apart even in such close quarters. The moment that truly marked the transition from daring to genuine was when we held hands in public for the very first time. What unfolded was unexpected. As they strolled back from the coffee shop, their fingers lightly grazed each other while weaving through the bustling sidewalk. Instead of pulling away, Sam's hand slid deliberately and firmly into Claire's, breath caught. It wasn't a clandestine grip concealed in a pocket. It was laid bare for all to see, visible a simple yet profound declaration. Claire squeezed back, their lives intertwining in a dance of fate, fingers intertwined. The warmth that enveloped her was not solely from Sam's touch. It was the intoxicating heat of belonging, of being cherished and cherished in return. In the radiant glow of daylight, no eyes lingered, no breaths were caught. Life continued its dance. Yet, for Claire, it was a transformative moment, akin to basking in the warm embrace of sunlight after enduring the cold shadows of Jake's conditional love. In the midst of uncertainty, fleeting glimpses of clarity danced like sudden summer rain, revealing the exhilarating freshness of it all. All the love she felt for her best friend would catch her off guard as she gazed at Sam, as she laughed across the table, her eyes crinkling at the corners. A wave of bewildered joy would wash over her, leaving her breathless in the moment. Did this truly unfold? Is this genuinely the life I lead? Yet, amidst the bewilderment, there was never a trace of regret. Never had there been a moment so profound, a feeling so deeply rooted in the heart. This was undeniably right. In a way, her connection with Jake had never truly existed, not even from the very start. The certainty lingered, delicate and fleeting, in the smallest of moments. In the tapestry of their connection, there were moments when Jake's affection unfolded in grand, sweeping gestures, while at other times, it appeared in the subtle, consistent ways that spoke volumes of his heart, crafted to enchant or soothe after a period of oversight. Lavish adornments following a missed celebration, a spontaneous getaway, journey when he felt her drifting away. Sam's affection lay in the everyday enchantment. As I reminisced, I recalled how Claire detested mushrooms, and I would carefully remove them from my omelet, placing each one onto her plate with a tender touch. As Sam caught sight of Claire, a gentle shiver ran through her, and without a word, he instinctively wrapped her in the warmth of his leather jacket. As the sun cast its warm glow, illuminating her shoulders, the message arrived just when Claire needed it most, on a day that had been nothing short of dreadful. In the dim light of the emergency, as the cookie delivery was held in suspense, Claire felt a sudden clarity wash over her. That took her breath away. As Jake's grand gestures often seemed like a way to atone for his absence, a desperate effort to win her back. The warmth he'd wasted, Sam's gentle focus, her unwavering companionship, her steadfast gaze upon Claire was the true treasure, the essence that made her feel cherished, not merely as an ornament, but as a beloved in her own right. Convenience. Yet as Claire surrendered herself entirely, completely, and unconditionally, it became a profound connection, feeling so deep, so entirely unlike anything Jake had ever given, that it wiped away the remnants of the past. Lingering shadows of uncertainty enveloped them as they wove together this undefined connection, stitch by tender stitch, revealing that it was more than just a fleeting moment, better than Jake. It was everything she hadn't known she desperately needed. It was home. Part 10. Something like love. The living room was transformed. Sheets and blankets barred from every closet and draped precariously over chairs, and the back of Sam's worn sofa created a cavernous, twinkling sanctuary. Strings of twinkling fairy lights, discovered by Sam in a box labeled miscellaneous and likely forgotten, danced delicately through the fabric. The ceiling bathed in a gentle, enchanting light that twinkled playfully across the walls and illuminated their faces. Within the fort, the world faded away, leaving only the cozy embrace of scattered pillows, forgotten books, and the remnants of cocoa in half-empty mugs, now chilled. The warmth of their bodies intertwined. They reclined on their backs, side by side, amidst a cozy nest of cushions in a plush blanket enveloping them, their bodies brushing against each other, fingers gently entwined in a tender embrace. Light danced across Sam's profile, highlighting the strong line of her nose and the gentle curve of her lips, which rested in a near smile. The way her dark hair spread like a silken curtain against the worn fabric of a band t-shirt, serving as a makeshift pillow. Claire's fingers danced over the familiar contours of Sam's form, each touch igniting a spark of warmth in the quiet intimacy of the moment. Knuckles with her thumb, the simple contact sending a wave of profound contentment through her. The quiet hum of the city outside faded into insignificance. Lost in the warmth of their own celestial embrace, time lingered, heavy with the sweetness of their closeness and the serene quiet that only true connection can bring. Amidst the tender connections that bind souls, Claire revisited the intricate tapestry of moments crafted over the past weeks, her heart fluttering with a mix of anticipation and vulnerability. The vibrant energy of that initial outing, the thrilling jolt of an almost kiss beneath the soft glow of the street lamp, the tender vulnerability of the heated exchange in the kitchen, the life-changing kiss at Sam's doorstep, the deep tranquility of waking up entwined, strolling through the museum, where Sam's dry wit breathed life into the art. The atmosphere was warm and inviting. In the cozy embrace of the coffee shop, hours drifted by, filled with effortless conversation and the comfort of shared silence. Countless evenings were spent curled up on Sam's couch, lost in each other's presence. On the sofa, her back nestled against Sam's chest, she felt a profound sense of being anchored and safe. In that bustling street, a simple yet profound gesture unfolded as fingers intertwined, creating a moment that felt like the universe had paused. The chaos around them faded, and in that shared warmth, everything else seemed to vanish, leaving only the intoxicating thrill of connection. At last, she found herself reflecting on Jake, not with yearning or sorrow, but with a clear-eyed understanding of his grand gestures, empty now, mere illusions to mask the profound void that his love had left behind. A captivating display that draws all eyes yet leaves a void behind the curtain. In the serene warmth of the moment, with Sam's hand gently clasped in hers, everything felt beautifully right, even when it seemed to contradict itself. Soft glow of the fairy lights, a gentle reminder of the moments shared. As Sam thoughtfully picked the mushrooms, lost in the warmth of nostalgia, the leather jacket hung effortlessly over her shoulders, a silent gesture that spoke volumes. It arrived just in time, a perfect blend of warmth and unspoken connection, an unwavering presence, a gaze that sees her soul, the warmth of being cherished in all her complexities, like sunshine breaking through the clouds of her insecurities. Even in their darkest moments, bowling skills and all this transcended mere competition. It embodied the essence of what true affection ought to be: steadfast, comforting, and nurturing, akin to returning to the warmth of home after a long, disorienting adventure. The realization dawned gently, like a soft sunrise illuminating the horizon. It enveloped her completely, a golden warmth that nestled deep within her bones, filling the quiet moments between her heartbeats. With an undeniable sense of completeness, she turned her head on the shared pillow, her gaze softly tracing the familiar lines of Sam's face. In the gentle glow, Sam sensed a shift and turned her head, her dark eyes shimmering with curiosity, encountering Claire. The fairy lights danced around us like twinkling stars, and the words blossomed, yet remained unspoken, from a place of uncertainty or trepidation. But from a source of unwavering conviction, they felt pure and genuine, like the very act of inhaling. Sam, Claire's voice floated softly, a delicate whisper that danced above the gentle hum of their secluded haven. "Yes, my sunshine," Sam whispered, gently caressing the back of Claire's hand with her thumb. Claire held her gaze, allowing the warmth, The certainty, the sheer, overwhelming ripeness of it to fill her eyes. I think, she inhaled gently, her voice barely above a whisper. I think I'm in love with you. The silence that enveloped them was deep, yet it felt light and full of promise. In that moment, the world seemed to hold its breath, a delicate stillness enveloping them. Sam remained unflinching, her composure unwavering, neither tensing nor retreating from the closeness that lingered in the air. A slow, breathtakingly tender smile blossomed across her face, beginning in her, eyes sparkling and radiating warmth, softening every feature. It was a smile of pure bliss that transcends the lightest of playful smiles, radiating with a warmth that outshines the most biting of witticisms. It was a smile that Claire had always caught glimpses of in fleeting moments, now revealed in all its breathtaking fullness. Just for her, Sam shifted slightly, propping herself up on one elbow. Her hand rose softly to cradle Claire's cheek, the warmth of her thumb gliding along the delicate curve of Claire's cheekbone, their eyes locking in a moment that felt electric, impossibly soft. I know, Sam whispered, her voice thick with emotion, rough with longing. The burden of time, a solitary tear, glistening and radiant, slipped from the edge of her eye, tracing a delicate path down her temple, vanishing into her hairline. She let it linger, unbothered by its presence. I've been in love with you, she confessed, the words tumbling like treasured gems into the stillness. Ever since you called Jake a fool, during our first year, echoing through the bustling cafeteria as he attempted to articulate the reasons behind his. A surprised laugh bubbled out of Claire as she realized that the grade in Econ 101 wasn't truly his fault. Bright and clear, mingling with the unshed tears that shimmered in her eyes, the memory of her righteous indignation lingered on behalf of a struggling classmate. Sam observed from a nearby table, his expression a mysterious blend of emotions, suddenly illuminated by a flicker of something deeper. A whole new world of heart-stopping emotions enveloped her. He truly was everything. Claire struggled to keep her voice steady, her words thick with feeling. Amidst laughter and tears, a monumental fool, Sam's smile blossomed, her thumb lingering gently caressing Claire's cheek. She nodded softly. And then Claire lifted her hand to fingers intertwined in the silky strands at Sam's nape, drawing her closer until their lips met, not with a frantic longing, but with a gentle, tender connection of their first kiss, nor the gentle exploration of the ones that came after, but with a profound, soul-deep certainty. It was a kiss that lingered like the rich aroma of cocoa, filled with shared laughter and the weight of years spent in unspoken yearning, now finally set free. It was a promise. As they sealed their homecoming, they sank back into the soft embrace of the pillows, their limbs intertwining instinctively, entwined in a tender embrace. Sam's arms enveloped Claire, drawing her in with a warmth that promised safety and connection. Her face was buried in Claire's hair, and Claire nestled her head against Sam's chest, listening to the strong, steady rhythm of his heartbeat. The steady beat of her heart beneath her ears, the most comforting rhythm in the world, while the fairy lights danced and cast enchanting patterns around them. Above them, the blanket of the night sky cradled the city's distant murmur, a soothing lullaby that wrapped around their hearts. The warmth that enveloped them was a palpable force, spreading outward and saturating the air around the fort. More words were needed. The silence that enveloped them now was profound and serene, interlaced with the rhythm of their shared breaths, gentle whispers of bliss and the deep connection that enveloped them. Claire let her eyelids flutter shut, inhaling the intoxicating aroma of Sam's skin, a delicate blend of laundry detergent and an essence that was unmistakably, beautifully Sam. The haze of uncertainty had lifted, giving way to a serene and luminous happiness. The path ahead remained a blank canvas, yet it unfurled before them, radiant with potential, anchored by this steadfast bond, enveloped in a gentle luminescence. In Sam's embrace, feeling the rhythm of the heart that had cherished her quietly for so long, Claire understood that this was more than just a fleeting moment, something akin to love. This was the genuine article, the profound, lasting, and unwavering kind. With a tender touch, he drew her closer, enveloping her in a cocoon of warmth and affection. And in that serene moment, she felt cherished and secure. This is it. This is everything. This is home. They floated away together, entwined, each other near, a sensation that resembled eternity.